Life after Microsoft Windows, cutting the cord, LibreOffice. Are you ready to take the plunge? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we're coming to the end of some fireside. Smoky, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking space, SpaceX, Starlink, Linux, all kinds of good tech. So today we're going to be talking about LibreOffice. I've been wanting to do this for a bit, and I was reading an article over on ZDNet. I want to bring it to your attention. It's really interesting because I didn't think that LibreOffice is as big as it is. I've been using it for many, many years, for decades actually, and it is absolutely exploding right now. So a little bit under the radar, but I definitely want to bring this to your attention. This goes back into my Life After Microsoft Windows Cutting the Cord series. If you don't know what that's all about, basically I cut the cord with Windows August 1st, I believe it was, 2024. So that'd be 240 some days ago. And my Windows has remained right here the entire time. So in these 240 days, let's call it, I have not booted into Windows. We're only using Linux for everything that we do. It doesn't matter if it's audio, if it's visual stuff, video editing, 3D CAD, everything. Doesn't matter what it is, everything is being done through Linux. So a lot of people decided to move away from Windows when, number one, Windows became end of life, let's call it, or EOS, end of service, which will happen at the end of this year. And they want to do it preemptively and say, you know what, we're going to move away and we're going to do it now before we have to do it the last minute, right? Now you could pay if you want to extend that license, but it's only going to give you like security updates and that's it. There'll be nothing new over there on Windows 10. And the other thing was people started getting sick of the AI stuff and all of the telemetry and all of the bloat that's in Windows. They don't want to be spied on anymore. They don't want that telemetry built in. They no longer want to pay a subscription fee for things. People are subscriptioned out. They don't want to do it anymore. There's a subscription for everything these days. A lot of these companies found out that they can make an absolute ass load of money by using subscriptions, and a lot of them have. Some of them haven't, but a lot of them have. And people are just sick of it. So this is what's going on. And once again, I want to get into this article. I think it's very interesting, but then I'm going to give you my commentary over it and dive in a little bit deeper so you know what's going on. And hopefully it's something that you would be interested in going along with me on this journey of cutting the cord. I did this about 5-6 years ago with Adobe. Another giant, right? Another monopoly, let's call it. And I created a series called Life After Adobe, Cutting the Cord. Matter of fact, maybe I'll put a link over here. Check it out. I gave you all of the different ways that you can cut the cord with Adobe and use alternatives and do it effectively as a professional. Because I am a DP, a director of photography. I do videography and, of course, photography for the last 20 plus years. And I'm doing it, once again, on Linux. And I am not using Adobe at all. So anyways, let's get into this article real quick, and then I want to hear from you down below. What do you think about all this? Are you interested? Are you not? Why are you? Why are you not? I want to hear from you. All right? And if you don't want to put something down there because you're shy, that's fine. Put an emoji. Put whatever you want down there. At least I know you've been here and you actually watched the video. I would appreciate that. Starts out by saying LibreOffice download surge, a quiet rebellion. We've been tracking a fascinating trend over at ZDNet, and it's got us buzzing. LibreOffice downloads are soaring, and the numbers don't lie. Since the February release of LibreOffice 25.2, the Document Foundation reports nearly 1 million downloads a week, with a global user base hovering around 200 million. What's fueling the spike? Well, it's a mix of factors we can't ignore. Windows 10 support is barreling towards its October 25th end, as I was telling you about. EOL, end of life, or EOS, end of service, however you want to call it. Once again, that's October this year. Subscription models are wearing thin, Linux is gaining ground, and Microsoft Office latest price hike tied to AI features like Copilot has folks rethinking their loyalties. From corporate overlords to open source heroes. We've seen this shift firsthand, and we have long championed LibreOffice as a viable alternative, and now the data backs it up. Online chatter from X posts as well as Reddit threads shows users fed up with Microsoft's $10 a month or $9.99 a month Office 365 tag, a 43% jump for some, and it forces AI integration. Meanwhile, LibreOffice stands firm. No subscriptions, no data harvesting, just a solid suite that's free and independent. Forums like linuxquestions.org highlight its 400 million download legacy. 400 million downloads of LibreOffice. Unbelievable. With recent surges tied to enterprise moves. Think Germany's Schleswig-Holstein, swapping 30,000 PCs to LibreOffice. I'll get into that before the end of the video. The numbers paint a bigger picture. Digging into the web, we found communities on Stack Overflow and X raving about LibreOffice customization. The ability to tweak the UI, use custom script macros, and personalize the icon style can easily make it your own. It's not just individuals either. Businesses are jumping ship, lured by cost savings and privacy. The Document Foundation's refusal to track users is a stark contrast to big tech's data grabs, and that's resonating. This is massive. The Document Foundation will not track you. It will not collect your data. And companies are now seeing that. They're seeing the cost savings, but they're also seeing the ability to stay anonymous and not have to worry about leakage. It's very, very hard for a company to say, we're going to use Windows today with AI and everything else built into it and not have to worry about leakage, not worry about information leaving. Anyways, the article continues. With Windows 10's deadline looming, posts on many Linux forums show a steady stream of Windows cord cutters pairing LibreOffice with Linux, dodging Microsoft's ecosystem entirely. A call to break free. This isn't just about software, it's a revolution against a system that's had us hooked too long. Subscription fatigue is real, and Windows feels like a relic with its telemetry and forced updates. LibreOffice, especially on Linux, offers an escape. No fees, no surveillance, just pure functionality. We're watching a movement unfold, millions choosing freedom over chains. Will this be the tipping point where open source topples the giants? That's a great question right there, ending this article. Will this be the tipping point where open source topples the giants? Down below, I would love to know what you think about this. So this is really great to me because, once again, I am a proponent, obviously, of open source. I'm using open source. I use Linux, and all of the alternatives that I use are open source. Some of them are not. Like, I use DaVinci Resolve, but DaVinci Resolve I paid for $300+. I bought it, and I'm using it on Linux. So the underlying or the underpinnings is Linux, but I'm using a proprietary software also, but it is not one that is perpetual, where it's a license that you never pay for, that you're constantly paying in perpetuity. That is complete crap. That's why I like DaVinci Resolve. You buy it, you own it, and that is it. Very simple. If they go to a next revision and you want to update to the next revision, not small revisions, not like 18.1, 0.2.3, but when they go to 19, let's say, if you want to buy it, you can. You want to do the upgrade, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. That's the difference of what's going on with a lot of these companies today. They are forcing you to upgrade continuously. Apple is a perfect one. They just love planned obsolescence, don't they? They give you a piece of hardware and then X number of years, the hardware is still working, but what happens? planned obsolescence. The software doesn't work anymore. Oh, this is just not powerful enough for our extreme version, the ultra version that we now have, which is a bunch of BS, just making you buy another piece of hardware, right? Same thing holds true here with software. Once again, paying in perpetuity instead of just buying something. That was one of the reasons why I broke free of Adobe. And I brought a lot of people along with me because they went to that paid model where once again, you own nothing. It's like renting a car or leasing a car. You don't own it. And then when you're done, you give it back. Once again, if you stop paying for it, guess what you have? You don't have Adobe anymore. You can't even edit your images anymore. Anyways, I digress. A little bit of background on this fork, how this ended up coming to be. Now, a lot of you guys, some old folks out there would be like, I remember something called Star Office. Yeah, about 40 years ago. Well, Star Office was brought about with, Sun Microsystems, then Oracle bought it, so on and so forth. Well, when they went proprietary, not open source, the community, let's say, rose up and said, listen, we're going to make something. And in around 2010, they came up with LibreOffice. Before that, I think it was around 2000 or so, they created openoffice.org back in 2000. Well, LibreOffice was 2010. That is what's currently out there. And once again, over 200 million people are using it daily worldwide. 200 million with over 400 million downloads. That is absolutely unbelievable. I didn't know that. You know, I remember the root or the fork, where it came from, like Star Office back 40 years ago, 1985 or something. I remember that. But I didn't know everything that has happened since until I was doing some research. And I am just absolutely floored by it. I know that it's a great piece of software. I use it on my computer right now. But I didn't realize how big it was. So why are people doing this? Why are people moving to this LibreOffice? Why are they moving to Linux? You know, there needs to be this end to the cash drain that has been going on, right? Where your money just goes down the tube. Well, that has been happening for quite some time now with the nickel and diming of people with subscriptions. So that is one of the reasons, subscriptions. The other thing, of course, is the ability to guard your data, right? The idea of using Windows today with anyone that has any sense, that knows what's going on with their AI platform, with their Copilot and all the rest of it. I did a report on this. I highlighted all of it. Matter of fact, go back to one of my videos about this. It'll be in the Life After Microsoft Windows series. Go check it out. I talk all about it and how Copilot is very difficult to turn off. Now, there are ways to do it. I did find some ways, but to be able to actually de-telemetrize, let's call it, that's not even a word, but to be able to break free of Windows, let's say, leakage that happens, where they are just sucking your data out continuously. Remember Copilot and Recall? Recall was a thing where Microsoft would take a picture of your screen every 2 seconds and then call those pictures and break it all down and then send that data off to Microsoft. I don't know what it did with that data, but if you just think about a picture of your screen every 2 seconds, what is it that it is not getting? What is it not getting? Your passwords, everything you do, every site you go to, every photo you look at, everything you do, right? That's what Windows gets. That's what Microsoft gets. And that gets sent off. Once again, Copilot Plus and their Recall BS. Well, once again, you could shut it off, but it would take an act of Congress to do it. It is not easy. You're doing registry edits and stuff and hopefully not breaking your system. It's not that easy. Can you do it? Maybe. A lot of people say you can do it, but you know what? I think that there's always going to be something underneath the hood that will be leaking, in my personal opinion. That being said, the idea of owning a tool in comparison to leasing or renting a tool is really, really big. And the corporations are now seeing it. They're like, hey, we're tired of paying these fees. We're just going to move away. All right. We're not going to use it anymore. We're going to cut the cord and we're going to. Matter of fact, remember that state that I was telling you about in Germany that was in the article about 30,000 computers or whatever. It was Schleswig-Holstein. That town or that state is fully migrating away from Windows. First, Office. So they are moving from that Office 365, the Office platform, off to LibreOffice. So 30,000 LibreOffice are being installed over there. Also, they are migrating away from Windows completely and moving to Linux. So not only are they moving their Office package, but they're also moving the entire OS. This is an entire state. It's like if Florida says, hey, we're going to just get rid of all of Windows. No more Windows in the government. We're going to use Linux. And when we need any type of Office package, we're going to use LibreOffice. That is what they're doing in Germany. And that seems to be what has been happening a lot lately. We're seeing large corporations that are migrating away from Windows, away from Office, away from these subscription plans, and into an open source type of environment. Now, people would be like, well, is it secure? Well, actually, it's more secure. That's number one. Number two, since it's open source, if you want to go and write other security measures into it, you could. You could even patch the kernel if you wanted to. So it's as low level as possible. So you cannot have any data leak at all. There's a lot of things that you can do that you absolutely can't do with Microsoft Windows. So I think all in all, this is absolutely awesome that finally not only us, we the people, are starting to break free from these entities, but now we the government are also going to start breaking free. It's not happening yet here in the US on large scale, but there are some towns that I've been watching and kind of noting, and I'll probably do a video about those also. Just think about this. LibreOffice. That's kind of, well, made English. It's not really LibreOffice. It's LibreOffice. Libre is to free, is free, right? Free office. That's really what the Latin term is. But if you speak to anyone, they'll say LibreOffice. It's actually Libre. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. However you want to pronounce it, it is free. That is the most important thing. And so is Linux. So guys, I want to know, what say you? What do you think? Down below, what do you think about LibreOffice? What do you think about using Linux in comparison to Windows? Is it something that you can do? I've said this many times in the past. I've said this on the JC live shows that I do live every 8:30 p.m. Friday nights. I tell you guys, get Linux. Install it on one of these things, on a pen drive, okay? See if you like it. Boot off that pen drive, test it out, see if your hardware works, see if you can find alternative software that you can use every day for your normal use case, whatever it is. If it's maybe you're using Windows for its, I don't know, email, can you use Thunderbird? Can you use something else as an alternative? If you're using something like Adobe's Premiere for your video editing, can you use DaVinci Resolve? You know, there's a ton of alternatives out there. Is this something that you can do? Once again, by installing it onto one of these, if you don't like it, you pull it out and everything is fine again. You don't have to worry about it. If you do want to take the plunge, I would say install it on an NVMe. And even better, take your Windows NVMe out, pull it out, stick it into one of these blister cases, right? And then install a fresh one and install your Linux so you don't end up deleting this accidentally, all right? Another recommendation to you so you don't mess things up, all right? Very simple. Another way to do it is to get a multi-NVMe card where you can put in multiple NVMEs. Like I have one that can hold 4. So I have 4 of these, 2 terabytes in there with 4 different OSs. I can do that. And you can do that too. So it's just something that you can try. But down below, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about all this? Is it something that you would like to do? Is it scary? It should be, but it shouldn't be at the same time. Once again, I gave you a couple of things you can do to make it less scary. let's say. Finally, if you enjoyed this content, please throw the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you. Click this little notification button here so when I go live, like on Fridays, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a little thank you button down here. You could give $1 or $2. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more life after Microsoft Windows, cutting the cord, I'll put a link right here. Click on it now, and you'll be able to see that entire playlist. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all my merch and my shirts and my tees and my books and everything else. If there's something there that you like, please pick it up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and stay Windows free. Take care, guys. Love you all.